So, a recent national study by the Lumina Foundation and Gallup found a troubling trend. A significant portion of college students, both 2 year and 4 year programs, 35% have considered leaving their programs in the past 6 months. The leading reasons students cite for considering departure is their well being, with emotional stress at 54% and mental health concerns at 43% being the top factors. This is especially concerning for students pursuing bachelor's degrees, where two-thirds considering leaving report emotional stress as a factor. Interestingly, women students are disproportionately affected by these issues, while colleges are reporting increasing resources for mental health. The study suggests more needs to be done. We'll be discussing this further with Mr. Jerry Danielsen today. Jerry is a member of the Board of Trustees for the College of the Canyons in Santa Clarita, but Jerry is also a celebrated composer and musician. He owns a recording studio based here in Santa Clarita, Busy Signal Studios. He has written and produced a wide variety of music, including film scores such as That Little Monster, Masquerade, Abe's Questions, and many more. And Jerry has been a student at COC. He's a graduate from COC and has been out in a big part of this valley for many, many years. Jerry, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to ask you about the survey from the Lumina Foundation and Gallup concerning the mental health of college students nationwide. And then I have some questions about trade school at COC.
Okay. Well, those are troubling statistics, and I think emotional stress can be lumped into mental health, because how can you you're not mentally healthy if you're stressed out all the time. I think that's a growing trend in our society in general, with our political climate and the economic climate, and that trickles down onto our students and potential students. So the stress level is higher now than it was years ago, and of course we are just freshly still out of COVID and the pandemic, where the college enrollment flatlined. It went down a lot, and then just winging it. I wasn't on the board yet, but I was well aware of what was happening. Winging it with suddenly Zoom becomes popular, and it existed before that, but now it's the norm. It still is the norm now. And declining enrollment exists in all levels of schools right now. There are schools, like elementary schools, closing because of declining enrollment. It's not just college. There are less people having kids or people moving away. And so that is part of it. Just the sheer number of people having children is coming up through the school system. However, the college is trying to stay on top of that the best we possibly can. And we did just expand our counseling center, so people can there are walk-ins, there are appointments that can be made, there are online resources. We have a variety of free short-term counseling services to students, which can be individual or crisis intervention or group counseling, support workshops, psychological consultations, whatever somebody might need, especially if you're a student who might be economically challenged and maybe you don't have health care or whatever, and you need to talk to somebody, about your issues. It's important that some of that stuff is free for the students. So, and I know if someone is going through something, maybe they're too shy to talk about it, but we welcome anybody who is on campus to come and talk to us. And again, we have expanded our counseling services and a larger building, and it's my hope we'll hire even more counselors to deal with that. But we are definitely approaching new ways to try to attract more students and deal with all their issues.
Yeah. So given this sort of national trend of declining enrollment, and I know you talked about schools closing here, even locally, I think Santa Clarita Elementary, right, and SUSD is closing, and Hart School District is having some issues where they're laying off teachers.
Yes.
But how can College of the Canyons leverage its resources to not only retain current students, but also attract new students who are increasingly concerned about their overall well-being in a college environment?
Well, again, we have discussions about that all the time. For one thing is having the presence on and awareness on the high school campuses, so people who are graduating high school locally are well aware of all the great opportunities that College of the Canyons has. And as a, if you want to go on to get a bachelor's or a master's degree, going to our local community college is certainly way more affordable. And economic stressors are really huge right now. We have inflation, and there's a lot of question marks on the future. So economic uh, convenience is much better. So having the awareness on the high school campuses is great, but also just having our community well aware of all the new programs we have, as well as you were talking about jobs. We're trying to stay on top of what are the jobs of the future. So some folks think, why should I go to college? I won't be able to get a job anyway. And that's not always the case. There are vocational kinds of classes on campus in addition to transfer students, people who want to transfer to another university. So we're out
Hmm.
there all the time trying to get the word out. And things like this show we're on right now helps, because the more we can get out to the community, the better.
Yeah, like you're talking about the anxiety about the future. I know many young people are grappling with anxiety due to issues about job placement, whether or not they're going to be paid well, and I like you said, COC has programs for that.
Yes, we do have programs for that. There are, like I say, there are vocational programs, there's welding, nursing is a great program at COC. And there are going to be classes coming up regarding AI, actually, because there will be jobs in the future. I think AI is a big topic. It's an ongoing conversation. It's in its infancy. There will be job losses in certain fields because of AI, but hopefully job increases in other fields because of AI. So there are robust conversations going on with the academic senate and the faculty about how do we deal with this thing called AI that's in its infancy, but it's here to stay. We
Yeah,
have we also have, I know, a lot of people know about this, but we have our Advanced Technology Center, which is in an interim location now, but will be opening up to a much bigger facility. And again, manufacturing is predicted to grow exponentially in our country and in this area as time goes on. That's a growth area for jobs that.
oh yeah. Well, most people think this is, and I've been telling people this for a long time. They think this is a little sleepy community, no jobs here, but this is actually, Santa Clarita is a manufacturing hub now. There's a lot of manufacturing here.
Yeah, it's a sleepy community of what, 230,000 people,
Yeah, exactly.
we're as big as Little Rock, Arkansas, I mean, we're actually in a different state. We'd be considered pretty big. And
Yeah. Well,
in the Met,
we're the third largest city in LA County
yeah,
behind Long Beach.
and growing. So we have a lot on our hands as far as the college goes, raising awareness of all this. But again, with manufacturing, there is a big future there, and we are staying on top of that with our Advanced Technology Center.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So the ATC currently operates at an interim location focused on advanced manufacturing with CNC production. But can you tell us a little bit more about the timeline for the permanent facility and how it will expand the range of programs offered at ATC, including welding, robotics, and what are the key features of the Diamond Place location that will prepare students for the workforce?
Well, there's already a need for this, and we're building it out of the need. The need, it's industry driven. The need already exists. I believe it's going to be 2 years or so when the the larger, like 30,000 square foot facility opens, and we'll have construction technologies, carpentry, plumbing, electricians, construction managers. We'll have, like you said, CNC operators and tool operators and engineering technicians, certified logistic technicians. We're going to have welding, fabrication, steel workers, pipe workers, robotic welders, and sheet metal technicians, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a bigger and bigger need for it. And those aren't bad jobs. Some people think that's not my dream. There's a lot of talent in those fields, and there can be very well paying. Those can be very good jobs. And we're going to have this big community center. It's going to be 30,000 square feet or so. And I'm imagining all the forecasts are people will get hired right out of there, or companies will hire somebody already and send them through our program for training. So this is a great thing about all
Yeah.
kinds of jobs in our community.
Yeah, I've worked many years in manufacturing and maintenance and engineering, and those are really high demand jobs and probably some of the better paying jobs out there.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I,
Yep.
I want to switch gears and talk about art, because I know this is something, as a musician and a composer, a very successful musician and composer, this is something that's very near and dear to you. So can you talk more about the art programs at COC? And are there practical applications for art programs at COC?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm trying to do, I co-presented uh to the board and to the public on Zoom or whatever, this notion that the arts, not only do we have a robust art program in theater, in writing, in music, there's visual arts. We have a new recording studio, and there are bands, and in fact, there are concerts coming all throughout the year from students. There are songwriting concerts, so that is near and dear to my heart, and it's good to raise awareness of that. But one of the things that is stigma is a strong word, but a lot of people think that the arts are fluffy, or the arts they're good for personal development, but they're not as practical as welding or robotics or something. And what part of the presentation I put on is researching the arts in getting good, solid jobs. There are recording studios. Like, I started a recording studio. I make my living at it. But if you look in the LA area alone, which is local, we're in LA County, there are hundreds of thousands of jobs having in the film industry, as a filmmaker, as a sound person, as an editor. That, those are the arts. And what about video games? What about um, graphic arts and sound editing, podcasts? There's editing involved. That's all the arts. Those are all different aspects of the arts. There's also writing, of course. There's technical writing, there's regular writing. So we added all these together. If you look just in our country, there are millions of good paying jobs doing that. And just in LA County, there are at least hundreds of thousands, if not over a million, especially because we're a mecca when it comes to the film industry, but the music industry too. We're a big area, and that's all local. Somebody who goes to COC and learns recording arts, or even, and every time you see a TV show, there's editing, there's acting, there's sound design, and there's music. There's music in every single TV show and every single movie you ever see. Somebody's writing that music, somebody's editing that music. There are a lot of good paying jobs out there in the arts as
Oh
well. So I
yeah.
think it's important to know that.
And people think about Hollywood, which is really not that far away, but
Right.
a lot of TV shows and films are films right here in Santa Clarita Valley.
And we have film studios right out here in Santa Clarita Valley. And how many times you drive around and you see a street's closed because they're filming? That's part of the arts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. Appreciate
I
your
really
time.
appreciate you reaching out to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Santa Clarita Weekly. You can watch the show on Santa Clarita Star's YouTube channel and Facebook page, as well as listen in on the radio at KQRU 107.9. Visit SantaClaritaStar.com for more content and tune in right here to KQRU 107.9. A new voice for Santa Clarita.